You could step away. You mind? Is that okay?
No, absolutely.
Hello, everyone. We'll be starting in 1 more minute. Thank you so much. All right, I think we are set. Good evening, everyone. We're thrilled you're here. Thank you for joining us for the first quarterly Raising Travis County Town Hall. I'm Mariana Montejano, Senior Planner of Community Engagement and your humble MC. If I could get to our agenda, please. Next slide. Whoop. Other direction. Yay, thank you so much. All right, y'all. On tonight's agenda, we will have opening remarks by Travis County Judge Andy Brown. We will have some historical background by Pflugerville City Council member Rudy Mateer. We will have current updates of childcare and out of school time. We will look at the future direction of Raising Travis County. We'll have a bit of the scope of community engagement, communications updates, and a Q&A. I want to say that for our Q&A, while we weren't able to select all questions due to time, we have made it a point to embed some questions into our presentation. Additionally, during the Q&A time, we encourage you to please enter any questions that you might have, whether you ask them in the registration or you think about it along the way. Please enter your questions into the chat. We will be collecting them and answering them over the next 2 weeks, and we will be sharing them out to all of today's registered participants. We will be together for an hour and a half, y'all, so please take good care of yourselves. We will have a 5-minute break, but this is being recorded, so nothing will be missed. Make sure that you are taking good care of yourselves. Okay, without further ado, it is my pleasure to bring Judge Andy Brown to the quote stage and take it over, Judge Brown.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks for setting this all up tonight. Thanks everybody for being here tonight and being interested in helping raise our kids here in Travis County. I'm really happy to welcome you to what is the first of many community town halls to provide updates, answer questions, get guidance about the county's new childcare and out of school time fund, which is called Raising Travis County. Raising Travis County is our community's commitment to our children, recognizing that we have no chance of future prosperity in this region if all children here in Travis County aren't set up for safety and success early in life. This $75 million annual fund will expand access to affordable childcare for families. It will help stabilize our dedicated provider workforce, the folks that are providing this great care to our children, and make it easier for employers to support their employees that have young kids. Together, we're going to raise the bar for what Travis County families should expect, because we know that when children thrive, our entire community thrives as well. So to walk through what we've already done, what we've done so far, and what we're going to do next, we're going to have our Raising Travis County staff give the details, and I'll let them share more about themselves and the work once we get going. I wanted to just recognize a few folks that are here with us tonight. I know we have Pflugerville City Council member Rudy Mateer. We have our Travis County Health and Human Services County Executive, Pilar Sanchez. And I think I'm trying to see if there are any other commissioners on here. I don't know. Let's see. I'm not sure if there are, but if there, this was an effort, obviously, of every county, Travis County commissioner. So myself and Commissioner Shea, Commissioner Howard, Commissioner Gomez, and Commissioner Trevelyan, everybody pitched in to make this a success. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mariana. And but first, I want to thank everybody again for being here and supporting this initiative, and just recognizing that Travis County voters made this possible, and that we don't take for granted the continued support that this program has received so far from this community. We're going to keep working very hard. So Mariana, I'll turn it back over to you now.
Thank you, Judge Brown. Yes, and thank you, Travis County voters. We would not be here without you. I am thrilled to hand it over to Pflugerville Councilmember Rudy Mateer, who will share some historical context with us. So, Rudy.
So y'all saw me smiling and getting excited every time you heard what Judge Brown had to say. And you know, Mariana's right. This is a great moment in not only Travis County, but in the state of Texas, y'all. You're part of something that's going to be generationally changing. And you've got to understand that for people who have worked so hard in this space for so many years, not just, and let's not just talk about those who are childcare providers, but healthcare providers, community leaders, business leaders, to try to find a solution for this. What happened in 2024 with this commissioner's court? That's legendary. You know, oftentimes you have conversations with folks about how, hey, I want to make a demonstrative difference in changing my community. How do I go about doing that? Well, thanks to the efforts of yourselves, this court, and the people in this community, you did that overwhelmingly by actually partnering with one another. It's amazing what can get done and what can get addressed if people just go ahead and don't worry about egos and move forward with trying to get things organized and done. And that's what's happened here. So yes, I'm excited. Yes, I'm hyped. And you know, for folks who have been looking at this for a long time, this is amazing. So one of the things that you're going to hear about tonight is not, I wanted to give some context and background about what, historically how we got here from that. And, I think that we pretty much talked about those kind of issues and just, the amazing folks involved, like Kathy McCourse and other folks who've just been yearning and working on this to get things organized, but about what strategies are going to be included and incorporated moving forward on this. We're talking about expanding slots for infants and toddlers ages, 0 to 3, and after school programs for pre-K through 12. That's amazing, because we've been talking for years about, hey, listen, when you're talking about childcare, you guys know it very well. It's not just something that hits one part of the population. Quality childcare is for all people from right there. And you're going to go ahead and, because of this program, because of the funds, because of the leadership from the county, you're going to be able to go ahead and create more openings and opportunities for people to grow for the care and getting these working families an ability to return back to the workforce with more reliable options throughout the year. Not just something we're going to say, hey, your kid's good from 8 to 12 in the afternoon, or something, hey, we're just going to do after school 3:30 to 6. No, this is going to be throughout there. Expanding non-traditional hours care. That's a key one, because oftentimes we would hear from folks who are working evenings. I mean, one of the reasons why we're having this right now is because people work during the day, right? So people who work evenings, people who work weekends, people who work overnight shifts, they need care traditionally more than just the 9 to 5. And even during school breaks, how often do y'all look and you're saying, okay, listen, my kids are off for school for Christmas break, or my kids are off for school. I don't know how they started this whole fall break that these schools get now, but this is what's happening with these kids. I call it Texas OU weekend. That's another story. You see my sweater. But how am I going to go ahead and take care of these children? Well, this program, and you're working through the strategies, is trying to go ahead and help address those things and find quality childcare for those people who work those non-traditional hours. Building quality and capacity. Okay. We know very well that it's not just enough to have childcare. It needs to be a quality childcare. You need to feel comfortable that when you're at work, when you're somewhere else, that you're saying, hey, listen, my child is safe and secure with this person right there as well. Well, by investing in training and classroom resources for these providers, you can provide and you can serve more families and you continue to have high caliber childcare service. Because the only way that's going to make sure that we get that strengthened, that whole buttress regarding how you have quality childcare is by making sure that you invest in the people who will be serving your children. Collaborating with local businesses to reduce employee childcare cost. That's a big one. I mean, we know right now that we're seeing all too well that one of the issues and concerns is that we have two economies. We know that some people at the very, very top are doing extremely well. And we know people that, like ourselves and others right there as well. We know we have friends and families who are struggling to get by right now. And what needs to happen is that we work with these small local businesses, these businesses that we found out all too well during the pandemic who make up the onus of our community to help make sure that they're able to go ahead and help secure and work with childcare costs. So we're going to look at some government and business alliances to help create shared funding models that reduce the cost of childcare for employees in general. That way you're stabilizing these families, you're giving them something less to worry about, and you keep these employees where they need to be, employed. Guided by these strategies, this program takes on a whole regional report regarding what we're going to do around childcare and out of school time and the challenges that we're going to do. And we're not looking at this one way or the other. We're looking at the whole broad values and how to do that. And we're not doing it something that's theoretical. Well, thanks to these commissioners court, we're handling it head on. I'm excited to see what y'all are able to develop. I'm excited to see what these organizations are going to do, working with people in Central Texas families, working with Judge Brown, working with the other commissioners to see how we can make the most difference and continue the conversation that we're having right now as we move on to actually make action a reality. Y'all, be proud. This is something that you're going to look back at in your careers. You're going to say, hey, listen, I was a part of something that was very special. Thank you for your service. Thank the Commissioners Court for their leadership. And thank you, Mariana, for always keeping me in check and making sure I'm always on time. I was worried about my 5-minute limit. I think I was okay.
Anytime, Rudy, anytime, because that happens both directions. Yes, joking aside, thank you so much. I also want to just say, to piggyback off what you said, be proud. Yes, be proud, because there are so many people in this community that put this together, and it absolutely takes this village. So I just want to say that again. Thank you, Rudy, and the task force members that were part of this. All right, jumping into where we are so far and all the wonderful things that we should be proud of and updates. So getting us into our current updates on childcare, I'm going to hand it over to one of my brilliant colleagues, Dr. Megan Robinson, who will introduce herself.
Thank you, Mariana. Hey, y'all. Good evening, everyone. My name is Megan Robinson. I'm the Senior Planner for Childcare for Raising Travis County. Prior to joining Raising Travis County, I was with the City of Austin, where I served as the Program Manager overseeing workforce education and training contracts for the Economic Development Department. I have a background in social science research, including program implementation and impact evaluation. And as a very proud lifelong Austinite, I'm really excited to be part of this team and working with our community members, especially to expand access to such an important service for families. Next slide, please. We'd like to start this section with an audience polling question. We know that childcare is expensive. And for some families, the money they put towards childcare expenses is equal to or greater than what they spend on their rent or a mortgage. And unfortunately, we also know that childcare costs are not stable. So before we start getting into some numbers, we wanted to ask y'all, by what % did the median childcare rates in Texas increase over the past year? And we'll give you a few seconds to vote. And do we have any responses in yet, Emma?
Yep, I'm closing poll now.
Excellent. I see some folks selected the correct answer. The median rates in Texas increased by about 11% from 2024 to 2025. It's a pretty substantial jump. Next slide, please. So in preparation for Raising Travis County funding to go out, staff from Travis County's Health and Human Services Research and Planning Division conducted a series of community engagement forums in the spring of 2025. A goal of those engagements was to collect community feedback on their current concerns related to childcare, as well as their hopes for the Raising Travis County initiative. Across those engagements, community consistently identified the quality of care, affordability of care, and long waiting lists for tuition assistance or scholarships as some of their top concerns in the childcare space. And during those engagements, we also asked participants to rank Raising Travis County strategies in order of importance to them. Now, this ranking is specific to childcare, but interestingly, the community ranked those strategies in the order of their appearance. So strategy 1, expanding slots, was the top priority, which reflects the urgent need for access to childcare for families. Strategy 2, expanding non-traditional hour care, was next, followed by strategy 3, building quality and capacity, and then strategy 4, which was building a business-government alliance. Next slide, please. Our community engagement forums help to inform our immediate next steps, which you can see in this table of childcare investments thus far. We worked to expand access to infant and toddler slots by signing a contract with Workforce Solutions that will allow them to expand access to childcare slots for children ages 0 to 3 and place 1,000 additional children off of the waitlist and into care. Additional expansion efforts include Project Apple Blossom, which will provide half-day pre-K3 and half-day childcare to up to 216 children through AISD, as well as 2 new Early Head Start infant classrooms through our local Early Head Start provider, Child Inc. However, we cannot expand access without also taking steps to preserve and increase quality and capacity. So to address strategy 3, we worked collaboratively with our transition task force and other members of the community coalition to develop what we call the Travis County Child Care Quality Rate, which are reimbursement rates paid to providers that come closer to the true costs of providing quality care. The rates were informed by a cost model that synthesized local and state level childcare cost data, and they vary based on the child's age, program type, so center-based licensed childcare home, or registered childcare home, and also program quality level. This past month, we signed a contract with Workforce Solutions to reimburse their contracted providers providing care to children on scholarship at the Travis County Child Care Quality Rate. And to help minimize competition between Raising Travis County and the federal child care scholarships, we also signed a contract with Workforce Solutions to provide what we are calling gap payments, or additional payments that make all providers serving eligible children whole at the Travis County Child Care Quality Rate. Workforce Solutions is on track to begin dispersing gap payments mid-November, and those will be backdated to include eligible children served since September 1st of this year. And we also have a pending contract with Austin Child Guidance Center to provide training and education to early childhood educators on child development, learning strategies, and socio-emotional health. Next slide, please. As Mariana mentioned at the top of our webinar, we received a few questions from the audience, and one that we would like to address now is how are parents on the childcare waitlist being prioritized? Families who are already on the waitlist will be contacted by Workforce Solutions. Workforce Solutions will notify families about the availability of scholarships in the order in which that family was placed on the waitlist. If you are currently on the waitlist, please ensure that your contact information is up to date. Workforce Solutions will reach out to the phone number, email address, and physical address that they have on file. And for questions about a family's eligibility for childcare scholarships, we recommend that you visit Workforce Solutions Capital Area's website or call them for more information and for help applying. Their information can be found in the chat. Next slide, please. All right, now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague for all things out of school time, Roxanne Jimenez.
Thanks, Megan. Hello, everybody. I'm super pumped to be here with you all virtually and get to talk to you about out of school time. I've had the privilege of being part of the out of school time community for over 20 years. I've started as a youth service specialist, managing youth groups part-time, moved to full-time in San Antonio, and then was able to lead after school and summer programs, and now have the privilege of being in this role where I get to support youth, families, and providers in expanding the out of school time programs for the community of Travis County. This work's important. If it's just important. I'm invested in this because it matters. It matters to that parent who is working non-traditional hours and needs somewhere for their child to be safe, to get their homework done, to see a friendly face, to have a meal. It matters to that child who is going to be stuck at home alone in the summer because there's not a program available to them, or they might not have transportation. So the work that we're doing is really important, and it matters to these families. And I'm just really excited to be part of this and to help see what the future is going to look like for out of school time with our community. Next slide, please. So we're going to also have a polling question, see who has the best guess out there. So the question is, how many out of school time sites do you think operate in Travis County? The question should have popped up for you. There's 4 options. And what do you think? How many current out of school time sites are operating in our beautiful county? Give a couple of seconds more. This could be a Wheel of Fortune question. This could be worth a lot of money. All right, Emma, you let me know what it is.
All right, I'm ending the poll now.
Awesome. And the answer was 625. I do want to give a special thanks to Learn All the Time Network, who provided us with that information. Currently, right now, there's 625 out of school time sites that are operating in Travis County, which seems like a lot, and that is a lot, and that's awesome. But there's still a lot of kids who are out there who need programs, who don't have access to it, and that's what our focus is going to really be on. Next slide, please. So just to provide some background on what we've done so far on our community feedback for out of school time, community input's important. It's integrated in everything that we do, and the goal is to ensure that our Raising Travis County funds are utilized to support youth, families, and providers. So gaining community input was really essential in order for us to identify what gaps were existing. So we did this through holding 6 opportunities from the beginning of this year to gain insight, feedback, and data related to out of school time programming. We had 2 stakeholder input sessions that included parents, caregivers, providers, youth, and other stakeholders. And then we had focus groups that were focused more on providers. So with our stakeholder input sessions, they were helpful with helping us identify what gaps were existing currently, what type of support services were needed, and what immediate support was requested for us to provide. Once we got that information, then we had focus groups. We had 4 focus groups, and we were hugely supported and guided by Learn All the Time Network. And in partnership with them, we met with out of school time providers from small organizations, medium-sized, large organizations, and we focused more on in-depth information. So we knew, if there was an issue, if an issue was identified during the stakeholder input sessions, we worked with them to really identify what was that issue, what makes it an issue, how can we support you to kind of meet this need that you might have. So these sessions were really important, and based on the information, we were able to identify kind of the following things that were the highest focus from the community. Next slide. So based on that, what we found was 5 things that were the highest priority needed. And that was funding, equitable opportunities for funding, workforce needs, transportation, and also the right fit for the program. So some guidance with these topics were needed for additional funding. So basically, yeah, we get it. And reality is we all need more funding to do the programs that we need to do to support the youth. In addition to being aware that there's some funding shortages and funding cuts that are affecting out of school time programming. Also, when we looked at equitable opportunities for funding, we were able to learn from the community that smaller organizations don't always have the same opportunities as larger organizations to compete for funding like ours. And how could we make that more equitable? How could we level the playing field so they had that smaller organizations have the opportunity to apply for that funding? Another thing we found was finding the right fit for programming with youth. If there's not a lot of programs out there, then that means that there might not be the right fit for that youth. You might have a youth who really is interested in sports, who's interested in arts, who's interested in dance, who's interested in really anything else. And if we're not funding those programs that meets that youth's need, then we're not having the right fit for that programming. When we learned about quality workforce and retaining the workforce, what the community told us is we wanted to make sure that we were investing in quality out of school time programs. We want to be kind of that goal that every other county reaches when you're thinking about out of school time. And also being able to provide the out of school time employees a living wage and ensuring that they are supported and they have a professional development goal that they can reach here. And then transportation, as we all know, transportation is sometimes difficult here in Austin. And while a scholarship might be available for a youth, if that youth doesn't have the ability to get from their house to that location, the scholarship really doesn't matter. So how can we provide transportation to our youth, to families, to ensure that they're able to take part in these out of school time programs? Next slide. We also asked the community about what strategies, based on the 4 strategies you learned about earlier today, were of the highest importance. And based on the community feedback, we saw that strategy 3 was the highest, followed by strategy 1, which was expanding slots for after school and summer programming, strategy 2, expanding non-traditional care, and then strategy 4, building a business government alliance. So this was really instrumental in helping us kind of identify what needs existed in the community and what we needed to focus the funding on. I also want to make a note that this was amazing feedback, like I said, that we gathered through six different opportunities with the community this year. But we're actually partnering with Learn All the Time on the LAT Network, and they are providing a landscape analysis for us currently. We're hoping to have that landscape analysis done within spring of 2026. And they're going to do such an amazing job of providing really an understanding of what out of school time programming looks like currently, so we know where to go from here. We're going to be able to see the impact that we're making with these dollars. I know they're going to be passing out that survey soon. They're going to have great incentives for providers to participate. So please get with them or get with us if you have any questions, because the information you provide is going to be really valuable to us. Next slide. So that's kind of all that community input is helping guide what we're going to be doing in the future. But what are we doing now? Well, we're investing in out of school time because we know how important that is. So we've invested with youth service organizations and ISD. Currently, we're providing funding to Del Valley ISD to provide pre-K 4 to 200 4-year-olds within their out of school time program. And then we're providing funding to Manor ISD to provide services to 1,500 youth within their out of school time program that's provided by the Boys and Girls Club. And that's from kinder to 12th grade. So we're really excited about that investment, and we're excited that they were able to get started and currently are providing that out of school time care. We also were able to provide funding to the African American Youth Harvest Foundation and Creative Action for summer of 2025, where they were able to serve over 300 youth within their programs. They did this through Urban Urban Youth and University Camp, and the Creative Action Summer Camp. Additionally, we are funding Breakthrough Central Texas and Girls Empowerment Network, along with the African American Youth Harvest Foundation and Creative Action for after school and summer 2026 in doing programming. We're projecting that altogether they'll serve over 900 youth within that program. And then additionally, we are in contract, in works to getting a contract with Pflugerville ISD. When that is successful, we are anticipating that we would have programming start in winter 2026, and we would be able to serve 697 youth. So these are really, really fantastic opportunities. We're excited about these investments because we are able to fill those gaps that existed without a school time programming. Next slide. So a question we had when you were able to register, you were able to send out a question. And one of the ones that we had was, what's the biggest difference between childcare and out of school time funding? And that's a great question. I think it's really important to understand what the biggest difference is. Besides babies and elementary, there's a lot more differences. Childcare is going to have smaller ratios that you would see with childcare instead of out of school time, and out of school time would have a higher ratio of student to staff. Also, there's going to be higher costs associated with childcare with lower costs associated with out of school time. Out of school time will have continual procurements. They're going to continually have like requests for services, because we're going to be funding different providers. Childcare will have some competitive procurements, and theirs is going to be focused more on kind of that quality and capacity focus. But a majority of that funding does support the state and federal lead agency, which is Workforce Solutions. Also, with eligibility, if a youth wanted to be eligible for programming without a school time, there are some criteria they would need to meet. So for out of school, that's 250% meet or at below the Federal Poverty Income Guideline, the FPIG. They do have to be a resident of Travis County, or they could attend a school that has 60% of economically disadvantaged youth. That would be provided information from the TEA website. If you're talking about childcare and how they qualify for that, that would be 85% of the SMI, which is a state medium income for scholarships, 250% FPIG for AISD services, and then 150% for services through Child Inc. and Early Head Start. So there are some differences as far as kind of being eligible for the services that we provide. Next slide. Additionally, this is kind of the process of the funding flow from out of school time, where it differs from childcare. So if we're looking just at out of school time right now, being the fiscal agent in Travis County, we would release a request for services, which is known as an RFS, for the funding. Once we do that, an out of school time provider would be selected for funding if they've applied for it. We then contract with that out of school time provider. We say, okay, this is what you said you're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And then the out of school time provider adds slots for youth in the programming. So if you're an out of school time provider and you say, I want X amount for 500 more slots for kids, we provide the funding, and then you provide the slots. And then we reimburse out of school time providers for programming. This is a reimbursable contract, meaning the out of school time provider would provide the funding up front for that month, and then we would reimburse based on that. So that's kind of the process of how out of school time funding flows. Next slide, please. In regards to the childcare scholarship funding, it is kind of different, and we wanted to make sure that we provided that information. So Travis County would contract with Workforce Solutions, and then Workforce Solutions would contract with childcare centers. So they would serve in that role. Then Workforce Solutions would contact parents that were on their waiting list to offer those scholarships. And then once those scholarships were offered, then the parent would contact the child care center of their choosing to enroll their child. Once they do that, then Workforce Solutions would reimburse the child care center for child enrollment. So you'll notice kind of with the out of school time funding flow, we're more involved in it throughout the entire process. And with the child care scholarship kind of funding flow, we contract with Workforce Solutions and they take lead on the majority after that. So that's kind of the overview of out of school time. Again, just so excited to be here, so excited about what the future looks like for our kids in the community. And I'm going to pass it over to the amazing Mariana to take it from here.
Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, everyone, for your participation in those polls and staying engaged with us. We are doing really good on time. So happy to say that for the first time, probably. Just kidding. And so we get to have a nice 5-minute break. Please enjoy this time to grab some drinks, get yourself comfortable, and we will start at 5:44. All right, see you all soon. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, if you can please start heading back, we will get started. All right. It's strange to not see a bunch of faces, so thank you all for taking good care of yourself. And now to share on what is ahead for Raising Travis County, I will hand it over to our courageous leader, Dr. Leah Meunier.
Thank you so much, Mariana. I appreciate it. I'm Leah Meunier. I am the strategic advisor for Raising Travis County. And I would like to extend a word of thanks for everybody on the call tonight. By joining us tonight, you are showing up as champions for children and youth and families. So thank you for that. And a special word of thanks to my team, who is working tirelessly to make this effort possible. Just a reminder, this is a first of its kind initiative for any county across the state of Texas. So we are truly creating a new roadmap for how this work can be done. And I would also like to extend a special word of gratitude for Corey Darling, who is the Division Director for Research and Planning, which is where Raising Travis County sits, and just grateful for her leadership and the stewardship she is also showing toward these funds. I moved to Austin 25 years ago to earn my PhD from the University of Texas at Austin in Human Development and Family Sciences, and I never left. I had the privilege during that time of serving as an early childhood educator in UT's Child and Family Lab School. And after I left UT, after serving as an instructor there, I have enjoyed a wonderful and very fulfilling career in the nonprofit community. I've had the honor of serving at a number of nonprofits whose mission is to provide services to children and families, as well as working at nonprofits that are building systems to better support families and to create long-lasting change. So it is a great privilege to now join Travis County and alongside my team and alongside you, our community of champions, to lead this initiative. And we truly could not do it without the support of our community. So thank you so much. So we are going to do a quick activity, which is called a word cloud. And I would like you to think about what word or word should Raising Travis County keep in mind as we move forward with this fund. So pretty soon you're going to see a QR code on your screen. So I'd love for you to grab your phone and scan the QR code. And that's going to allow you to enter a word or a phrase that you would like us to think about as we move forward with planning the Raising Travis County Fund. I see some words starting to come forward. Definitely transparency is a value that I know is very important to us at the county, because these are your dollars. These are not our dollars. These are community funds. We need to be transparent with how we utilize them. Sustain and sustainability. Yes, this is very important. We're setting up systems that need to last. Affordable, very important. These services need to be accessible to our community. Equity, quality, community driven, absolutely. Multi-generational. Youth, refugees, yes, we have such a diverse community and many needs that we need to meet. Immigrants, Latinos, child-centered, once again, sustainable. Engaging, access, high quality, absolutely. I think quality is going to be a theme we hear a lot about tonight and moving forward. Love, yes, this is definitely needs to be driven by love for our community and the children we serve. Caregivers, And we will be capturing all the feedback we get tonight, recording this webinar, and all of this will be shared back out to the community so that y'all can look at it again. And also folks that couldn't join us tonight will have an opportunity to still access the information and participate afterward. Geographically diverse. Yes, we have a large county, definitely a large community that we need to serve. Well, thank you so much for participating. We appreciate that. And like I said, we'll make sure to have an opportunity to share that back out with you after tonight. So as we move back into our slides, my opportunity tonight is to, as we reflect upon all the progress to date that my team was able to share with you, I'm going to be sharing what's in progress and what's coming up. So first and foremost, I know people are wondering what additional dollars are going to be going out the door. And I am happy to report that very soon we have new contracts that will be approved, which in total represent another $6.5 million in commitment to our community. And in fact, a number of those contracts will be going to Commissioner's Court first thing tomorrow morning for approval. Secondly, Roxanne explained a little bit more about how our procurement process works. And so our first open procurement or request for services will be released next month. And that will represent a $9 million annual commitment to increase slots for out of school time services for youth. And so I kept saying December, but now December is next month. So be on the lookout for that, more information coming in just a few weeks. And then in the spring, our childcare services will be putting out another request for services. And that will represent a little over $2 million per year that will be going out into the community to build childcare quality and capacity. So those will be additional funds on top of the $21 million in childcare contracts that were approved in October by court. We are in discussions with the city of Austin for an interlocal agreement. And this will be another way we can commit funds out to the community that will expand childcare and out of school time quality and capacity. And this will represent a $3 million per year investment, and it will be on track for approval by City Council and Commissioner's Court in January of 2026. Our long-term implementation plan is underway. That is currently being drafted. We've talked a lot tonight about what we refer to as short-term investments. And these were contracts we were determined to get out the door as quickly as possible because the need is, it's immediate. Children and families couldn't wait. And that is why we were so determined to get dollars out the door in under a year after the initial vote by our community. At the same time, we recognize that we need to have a long-term plan for how we can steward these funds. And so that plan is underway. And in fact, in 2 weeks, we will be going in front of Commissioner's Court and providing an update on that planning process. Finally, we are in the middle of hiring a dedicated position for the Raising Travis County team that will be focused on data and evaluation. In addition to that, we will be procuring for a third-party evaluator. And these are important investments. And I think, in fact, they reflect upon a lot of the words we just saw in the word cloud about transparency and accountability. And data is important. And it's because we are accountable. We're accountable to you, our taxpayers, because we are stewards of your dollars, and everybody's dollars are very hard-earned. And what we're investing in needs to make a difference. It needs to make a difference now for these immediate needs we just talked about, and in the future. And some of those returns we are going to see right away. You know, for that mom that gets the call from Workforce Solutions that her child is finally off the wait list and she can get a spot in childcare and she can go to get that job that's going to support her family, that's an immediate return on investment. And for that dad that no longer has to worry about leaving work early because his daughter can now stay after school in a quality out of school time program and be safe and be engaged and have fun and keep learning, and he can finish out his workday. Those are immediate wins, and we can agree upon that as a community. However, we're also going to see some long-term gains over time, and that's why the data piece is so important, because we need to have systems in place so that we can capture those. Every child who enters kindergarten school ready because they were enrolled in a quality early childhood program, and every child who is not having that summer slide because they are in an engaging and enriching program over those school breaks that Rudy talked about at the top of the webinar, right? Summer and fall break and all of those days that kids no longer go to school. Those are saving our local ISD time and resources. Those kids are school ready, and then later they are college or job training ready, they're career ready, and they will be prepared to give back to our local economy. They'll be ready to join the job market. So when you voted for Prop A, you were investing in the future of our children and in the future of our county. And we know that those are investments that will pay off in dividends. And by having the accountability that data and evaluation provide, we'll be able to share that back to you. However, it's not just about data, it's not just about numbers. We are also accountable to our community's voice. And that's why I want to turn it back over to Mariana. As you know, tonight she's been serving as our MC, but I'd like her to officially introduce herself as our Senior Planner for Community Engagement and share a little bit more about how she's leading those community engagement efforts. So I will turn it back over to you. Thank you so much, Mariana.
Thank you, Leah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm really excited. I have a little bit of goosebumps just thinking about everything you just said, everything that my colleagues have said. I'm so incredibly blessed to work with these amazing human beings that know so much. So yes, as was mentioned, I'm Mariana Montejano. I am the Senior Planner of Community Engagement. I am also a mother of 3, a mother who has personally experienced being on that Workforce Solutions waiting list. And I am also a dedicated servant to children and families. So over the past 20 years, I have lived and served in Travis County. I have served children and families in various capacities over the past 20 years, from a school social worker to a parent educator, and later a teacher who clearly, felt the impact of children getting to school unprepared, but also the challenges of having families not be able to have children safe somewhere after school or having to leave work, to a restorative justice practitioner and really thinking about how discipline impacts the well-being of our children. So this work is incredibly important and personal to me, and it is a great honor to continue to be able to serve in a position where I get to continue elevating the voices of those most impacted. So thank you all again for being here and being part of the conversation. So as others have mentioned throughout our presentation, earlier this year, our Division of Research and Planning hosted various community input sessions to gather feedback, which have been key in informing where we focus our efforts. And to help us ensure that community input remains at the forefront of our work, come the new year, we will be out in the community sharing about Raising Travis County and hosting input sessions. We're in the process of getting a wonderful resource to ensure we have language access in multiple languages that are representative of our county. We're also working on securing a software platform that will help us administer surveys in a much more accessible ways. Everything from voicemail surveys, telephone surveys, and then again, as I mentioned, going out into the community and meeting people where they're at. and finding ways to be able to close that feedback loop faster through this software platform that we are in the process of procuring, hopefully. So yes, being committed to community engagement throughout this process is absolutely key to us and important to us. And I am so grateful to be able to share with you the shares, the president, the CAC's, the CAC members that we have to continue doing this work. So up on our slide is this amazing group of human beings from across Travis County. They represent Travis County geographically. And also they represent their lived experience with childcare and out of school time. I'm honored to get to work with them very soon. Their first meeting is November 19th. This group, with its collective wisdom and experience, will help inform the future decisions and maintain ongoing dialogue with the community. So once the CAC comes together and establishes themselves, one of the first priorities will be enabling and establishing a system where community members can reach out to them to be able to provide input to them, as well as hear about any volunteer opportunities that there might be available. There will also be community members, the CAC members, that will be helping me and us as a team be able to ensure that community engagement out in the community is meaningful and valuable. And again, like I said, meeting people where they're at. What else do I want to say about this amazing group? I just really want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the Transition Task Force members that helped select this group of people. They've worked very, very hard. And again, it's just a continuous reiteration of how many people in Travis County care deeply about this and have come together to put something amazing. Okay, so before I hand it over to the amazing and generous Paloma, I want to just share that we are also preparing to have a celebration for Raising Travis County, either come late winter or early spring, because we need to celebrate, and celebration should absolutely be part of this work. And now I can officially hand it over to our communications person, please. Yay, thank you, Paloma.
Thank you, Mariana. So hello, everyone. My name is Paloma Gray, and I'm the Senior Planner for Communications for Raising Travis County. So a big part of my role is helping with strategic messagings to really support families in Travis County and strengthen our community connections. A little background about myself. My background is in social work, communications, and education. So that's really allowed me the opportunity to have a multidisciplinary lens, especially for inclusive communication. So alongside my role now, I also teach at Texas State, and being from the border of El Paso and Juarez, I'm bilingual in English and Spanish. So I'm just really passionate about equity, storytelling, and just making sure our communication is clear, accessible, and impactful. And before I dive a little more into our communications updates, I do want to highlight our new branding, which you've seen throughout this presentation. This branding was officially approved by the Commissioners Court last month. So we've been really excited to start integrating that into our presentations and communications materials, which you'll see next. If you weren't already aware, our branding, so with the branding that includes the logo, the name Travis County, and all the elements that you all have been seeing throughout the presentation. It was developed pro bono by the creative team at GSD&M. So just want to acknowledge how grateful we are to their partnership and generosity. Again, just really excited to start seeing this branding throughout the community. So we started sharing the logo with our partners. So really excited to start seeing this logo, seeing this branding really become recognized throughout Travis County and really identify this work. All right, next slide. So exciting news that we're really looking forward to sharing today. We have launched a webpage today officially. So definitely more information to come that is located within that webpage. We were thankful to work with the web team here at Travis County, but just a little bit of an overview. And Emma, that link will be dropped in there for y'all to check out as well. But the page includes, as of now, an overview of our program, why it matters, who we serve. You also find some background info on the program, the 4 strategies that we've been sharing about today. We also highlight our Community Advisory Council. So a list of those members is included on that page as well. I do want to note we do have 4 additional members that Mariana on the list she shared are not quite on the web page yet, only because we launched today, but they will be added as well. So we'll have that full slate of members listed on our page and featured. We also on this page will have a news page. So this is where we'll feature stories from the press and just what we've been doing in the community. But yeah, just want to preface, this is just the beginning, definitely a starting point for our website, but we're really excited to expand it more, provide more resources to parents and providers as our program rolls out. But really wanted to have, a landing page, a place where community members, parents, providers, everyone who has had to stick within Raising Travis County have a place where you can find all this information. So again, wanted to share the URL with you all. Please share with your networks and definitely stay tuned as we continue to add more tools and resources just to better support families across Travis County. Next slide. And then with that being said, I did want to answer one of the questions that we did receive from those of you who registered. So what is the plan for sharing a summary report from the community input sessions held earlier this year? So I did want to show we've highlighted findings from this throughout our presentation tonight, especially how community feedback has really actively helped shape our work and how it's going to continue to do so. So the input from those sessions is being compiled into a digital report. And so that report will live on that web page that we shared earlier. And so we just wanted to show, though, the report, we haven't made that publicly available yet. Our team has been reviewing the feedback from partners and providers in the community. The input's being incorporated into our decisions and ongoing work, as my colleagues have shared. So just wanted to let you know to stay tuned that report we will be sharing on that webpage as soon as it's ready. Next slide, please. All right, and then did want to share, this is, as we shared earlier, the first of town halls, of many more to come. So we would plan to have one every quarter. So our next one, we do have it planned for January, so Monday, January 26th. And the time is 5:30 to 7. So I know today we did start from 5 to 6:30. We did want to try a different time to hopefully allow for other people to join as well. This town hall will be geared more towards parents and community members. So it'll really be designed to help them connect them to resources, learn how to access services. So just the audience will be tailored a little differently and go more in depth for that type of audience. But definitely want you all to stay tuned for that. We'll share information on how to register. We do appreciate, especially for this town hall, we did have a lot of support on us spreading the word for this town hall. So we will ask that again. But yeah, just looking forward to opening that up to the broader community and sharing more resources then. And so with that being said, we did have an audience question as well on how to stay involved between town halls. So another exciting update, we are launching a newsletter at the end of our quarter, so in December. So this will include updates on what the Community Advisory Council is doing. That can include the development of working groups that'll support specific areas of Raising Travis County. The newsletter will also highlight different engagement opportunities where Mariana, our senior planner for community engagement, will be connecting with the community across the county. So just being able to share those resources with you all, definitely sharing success stories, updates, just everything that's been going on with the program. So in order to be added to that mailing list for the newsletter, we do ask that you email us to the email listed here up on the screen. That email is also on the web page. You'll see the steps on how to be added to that mailing list. But yeah, we're super excited to launch that and just to be able to keep everyone in the loop between now and that next town hall. And those will plan to release one at the end of each quarter and just keeping that community up to date and involved in everything that we have going on. And next slide. And then also wanted to share on social media, our team, Raising Travis County, does not have its own social media at this time, but Travis County and Travis County Health and Services is sharing on our behalf, having a larger following in the community. So for as far as Travis County, if you're on any of the social media platforms, you can follow them at Travis County TX. They're also on Nextdoor. And then Health and Human Services are at Travis County HHS. So again, they're sharing updates and, for example, about this town hall and things like that. They'll be sharing on our behalf. So if you're active on social media, we do ask that you follow us there. And let's see, and with that, that'll be all on our communications updates, and I will pass it back to Mariana.
Thank you, Paloma. All right, we are finally to our anticipated Q&A. And as I mentioned earlier, we were not able to take all the questions. We did our best, but again, want to encourage you to please put your questions in the chat. We are copying them, taking them back with us, and we will work on them over the next 2 weeks and get them back out to all of the participants in attendance today. Okay, so first up, we got 2 questions that are a little bit similar, which is what is being done to ensure equitable distribution of benefits across the county? And how will Travis County work with city leadership to ensure coverage for each city? How can we ensure all families have access? And these questions go to Roxanne.
All right, so in regards to these questions, the first one, the county is in the process of developing a service location map that will track Raising Travis County investments. And the goal would be that it's going to include childcare and out of school time locations. So this map will be able to show where identify specific areas that we are funding and so areas that are going to be serviced or maybe serviced at a lower rate. We're going to be able to see that visual that visual representation. So that's currently in the works right now. We hope to have that by the end of the year. And based on that, we'll be able to prioritize areas that are having lower services, prioritize them moving forward within funding. Also with childcare programming funds are administered by Workforce Solutions to parents and providers across the county. So those investments, they're informed by the current maps that exist of childcare deserts. So where there's basically a lack of childcare. Also, we've partnered with local ISDs and we're in the process of finalizing agreements that support the childcare efforts that are already underway in cities within the county. So the goal would be that that's an expand access to services throughout the region. Additionally, we are finalizing agreements with a number of local governments within the county that will support childcare programming and out of school time programming. So if you're from a city doing childcare work or out of school time work, and you have questions about kind of what we're servicing, how we can provide more services, please just get in touch with us. They provided the email address in the chat, so please just feel free to reach out and we'd love to provide you more information on that.
Great, yes, thank you, Roxanne. I want to piggyback off of that. Please reach out to me if there are opportunities for me to go out into your particular communities and to be able to share about Raising Travis County and to be able to connect to families. That is the intent. And so it is highly encouraged that we hear from you also and help us get to where we need to be and talk to who we need to talk to. Okay, next question goes to Megan. And this question, Megan, is how do we, as a licensed childcare facility that serves children on federal scholarships, let families know when we have openings?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Raising Travis County doesn't add any new requirements for providers in that area in terms of communications. So it will remain a matter of how a program is already managing their waitlist communications. If you are a provider that's looking for support on that, we recommend that you join a Workforce Solutions Childcare Collaborative or that you raise the question in a Success by Six network.
Great, thank you. Don't leave yet, Megan, because I have another question for you, which is, when will the GAP funding for Raising Travis County be distributed to childcare providers? Actually, I have two more questions for you, Megan, because the second question is, when will the 1,000 scholarships be distributed?
Yes. Workforce Solutions is on track to get GAP funding out the door beginning this month. And the 1,000 additional scholarships should be coming online by January. There are additional staff that need to be hired for that process just to make it easier for families to kind of move through that system.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. And next question also goes to Megan. Just kidding, Megan. Next question goes to Leah. Leah, how is Travis County helping community-based child development centers that are going out of business because of ISD funding?
It's a good question. First and foremost, we do recognize the challenges that local childcare providers have been facing as they've lost children to the pre-K3 and pre-K4 programs that local ISDs offer. And yes, Travis County did make a short term, it'll be a 2-year investment in Austin ISD. So Austin ISD will receive funding for those 2 years that will leverage the TEA funding that they were already drawing down to offer a half day of pre-K3 funding. Now with this short-term investment from Raising Travis County, they will be able to offer a full day of pre-K3 funding for 216 children. We also did make a short-term 2-year investment in Del Valle ISD, which will allow them to offer after-school programming for the full-day pre-K4 program that they already had in place. But I do want to emphasize that we are committed to funding the early childcare provider community. And we have already committed over $21 million this fiscal year to do so. This is in support of both center-based care and care provided by home-based providers. And in addition to these investments, which are for scholarships and quality care, we will be making additional investments in quality and capacity. We are also exploring the development of new policies and programs that would allow us to distribute emergency funding to center-based and home-based providers who are experiencing financial hardships. We are committed to keeping centers and home-based providers open. We understand that one of the primary goals of this fund is to help stabilize the childcare community, and that remains a goal and a priority. In addition to keeping those providers open, we are committed to making sure that we are growing the provider network so that we can continue to meet the need for childcare, which is ever growing in our booming county. And we are committed to ensuring that all of the care that's provided is the highest quality.
Thank you, Leah. All right. Hard question. Lots of information. Really appreciate everybody. All right, so we're going to our last question. And the last question will go to me. How long will CAC members be serving and when can I apply? CAC members will serve either 2 or 3 years, which will ensure we have both the stability as well as the opportunity for turnover. And so that means that the next opportunity to have community members apply for the CAC would be summer of 2027. Sorry. Yes. Okay, so the answer again, in case I was mumbling, CAC members will serve either 2 or 3 years, depending on how randomly they got picked for 2 or 3 years. And the next time community members can apply to serve on the CAC will be summer of 2027, and we look forward to that. All right, let me see. We do not have any more questions. Thank you. We wanted to share again with you those phone numbers, the emails, the websites that we shared throughout the night to Workforce Solutions, as well as to our email and our webpage. So hope you can jot those down. And again, this is being recorded and will be shared out probably within 48 hours, but just wanted to make sure you had enough time to jot those down if anybody needs those. Great. Thank you. And then if we, I'll give a minute in case anybody else, will you also, will we be able to share the slides? I just saw that pop up and I do not see why not, but I imagine all of this will be recorded and packaged together and shared out. So thank you for those questions. All right, before we close out again, I want to make sure that I encourage you one last time, please enter any questions you might have into the chat so that we can collect them all and take them back with us, work on them over the next week or two, and then get them back out to you all. Thank you all so much. And then we can start wrapping up, and I would like to share with you one final quote as we close out. And I'm thinking of Laura, because this has been impromptu. So it's called "Small Acts Can Quietly Become a Power." It says, we don't have to engage in grand, heroic actions to participate in the process of change. Small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can quietly become a power that can transform the world. And this is by Howard Zinn from A Power Governments Cannot Suppress. And with that, we thank you so much once again for your presence tonight, for your participation, and for making Raising Travis County possible. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks. Thanks, Mariana.